Hello, beautiful Cancerians. I'm so happy to be here with you. Welcome. I'm Emma, and whilst I'm new to YouTube, I am not new to doing this. I've been doing this an incredibly long time now, and I am excited about bringing it to YouTube. But I have been working in this way for years and years and years, and I will put a link to my website in the description in case you want to find out more about who I am. But for now, I'm really pleased to be here. And I've got to say, as I tuned in to Cancerian energy for April, it was the softest energy that I've linked into so far. So I've been making videos this morning, and this is the softest, warmest energy that I've seen for April. And I'm really feeling good about it. It feels like when I linked into your energy before I sat down, it feels like there is a theme throughout April of this is a place you can thrive in. That's what I wrote down. I feel like there is a lot happening for you, both internally and externally in your world through April to reassure you and reflect back to you and provide evidence that you are safe to be you in this space, and that actually what's happening for you is giving you a platform to be the kind of Cancerian we know you can be, which is loving and kind and warm and soft and healing and gentle and beautiful. And I feel like it's a very all-feeling month. But what I love about this is that obviously in the past, you have been very loving and you've come up against different things. You've come up against people that do not want what you've got to offer. They don't want your loving and your healing and your togetherness. And then that's left you feeling a bit dumbstruck, like a bit surprised, like what is happening? And then also you've had that experience of loving others and giving and giving and giving and not quite receiving in the same flow back, or at least not in the way that you would like to receive, and I think what is happening for you in April is that you are being provided with the right connections, the right co-creative experiences for you to be incredibly loving and for it to be welcomed and wanted. And this is actually the right place for it. The people that you're connecting with throughout April want what you're bringing. They want it. And what's fantastic is that there will be lots of reminders, but also living experience of how the energy you give out is almost coming back to you instantaneously. I just see you being filled with abundance and love and co-creation and togetherness, and it might come directly from that person, or maybe it will come sort of belated, but either way it's like you give this way and life is just going to keep giving to you in so many ways. And it's almost this very in-depth realization that you are safe to be yourself, safe to give, safe to love, safe to feel, safe to share. And I feel like April's providing a huge platform of expression for you. I feel like you are at times at your best when you're loving, and that's not coming from like a needy, codependent kind of you need to be on your own, everything from within kind of place. This is coming from you tend to thrive when you are connective, and connective is feeling. And so to be in environments and spaces and relationships that are very supportive of that connectivity, supportive of that emotion, supportive of that feeling, I think what's going to happen in April is that you're just going to have this very sealed in knowing, because you do already know, but it's just going to really seal it in and take it to new places for you. Just how welcome you are in the world, just how wanted you are. And I believe if you're looking for evidence of it, it's going to be in abundance. And I do believe you're going to be hearing about it. People are going to be reaching out to you. You're going to be thanked. You're going to be requested. People are going to be laughing with you and sharing with you. And I believe a wonderful testament to the magic of this experience will be when people share themselves with you, and not in a like overstepping the boundaries kind of way, but in a way that feels great when you're a part of it. I can just feel that you will find yourself in situations where you're talking to people and they are sharing from the heart with you, and it's happening so naturally. And of course, we know that happens for you anyway when people are around you. You know, you're in the queue at the bank and somebody suddenly opens up, right? But this is different. This is going to feel good to you. This is going to really reflect back to you who you are, who you've become. It's going to give you confidence in owning that. It just is a month of love, a month of self-love, but also a month of love inside all sorts of relationship dynamic. Now, this is not a relationship reading. I should have said that at the beginning. This is an April reading just in the general, but I think relationships across the board, both with family and friends and colleagues and of course partnerships, these are the places that your life is coming to life through April. And I feel these co-creative experiences are going to be very wanted and valued because they're very high quality. They line up with what is meaningful for you. And I believe that it's these relationships that will be quite prominent through the rest of the year. These are the things that are going to uplift you. They're going to show you what direction you want to go in. They're going to give you sort of this space to be yourself and express it, which means you're going to see yourself in different ways, and other people are going to reflect you back to you. You're going to have even more connection with self. And I feel like this is where you're, I guess, creating foundations for things that come later. Creating really good relationship experiences that you can develop and evolve into bigger life experiences later. And I feel like it's just really important. It just feels really valuable. Now, with that in mind, I'm now going to pull 3 cards for the month of April. And towards the end, I am going to do a relationship card. I'm going to pull 1 card for that. But it does feel like relationships are in the spotlight for you, but in all the ways that you would want. I feel like this is a month for you to be wanted in the way you'd want to be wanted. Yeah, you felt that. Did you feel that? I did. For you to be wanted in the way that you would want to be wanted, and to have lots of people around you that you want. And to really revel in the pleasure of what that feels like. I mean, that's real meaningful for life, that's meaningful to our hearts. I just feel like this is a good month for relationship experience. And I think it's going to be incredibly healing, helping you write new stories about what your relationships are like. I think, with all this real life experience, you will be talking about them in a different way. And some of the old stories that have been along for the ride will just sort of dissipate because you're just telling new stories. So that's really cool. So let's have a look at 3 cards for April. Okay. I'm using a Rider-Waite deck, by the way, if that's important. Okay. Okay, right, I've got, the reason you're going to see that I took a pause is because I really wanted to link in with these, because I've got the 5 of Swords, I've got the World, and I've got the 9 of Swords. Now, if we start here, themes for April. I feel, looking at the 5 of Swords, that there is going to be conversation happening throughout April where at times intellectually and through thought it might appear that you're not on the same page as people, and that might trigger some of the old storytelling, right? But it's only in thought, and the way The way that people articulate their feelings, the initial sound might sound like there's a difference of opinion, and that somebody is maybe, it could sound like somebody is trying to be right, somebody is trying to prove something. It might be you, that you're trying to prove something, that you're trying to point out that you're right, but it feels like it could be really easy to misinterpret that as a difference, like as one of those differences that you just can't get past. But that's not what's happening. What it feels like is, once these conversations go further and develop, I feel like you're going to be in the realization that it's the way that things are articulated. It's the way that things are expressed and communicated. It's worth remembering, not everybody is as great as expressing emotion as you are. Not everybody knows how to put that into words. And I feel like, once we get past the idea that you're on different pages, because you're not, then you're going to know you're not. I feel like there's a lot coming to show that you're living in the same world as the people that you want to work with, that you want to share life experience with. I feel like what's happening, though, is this realization that there are languages that don't use words, and there are ways that people let you know how they see you, how they care about you, how they feel about you, and that you are in the right place. You haven't come off track. You're not in the wrong relationships. You're not in the wrong, perhaps you're not in the wrong work dynamic. Perhaps your family are not against you here. Like, everybody is in the right place at the right time, and that you are meant to be co-creating together, and that you can find that way forward if you just give it more feeling. Now, you're fantastic at that, Cancerians. You're so intuitive. And I know sometimes it gets a little bit knotted up when we try to go into, what people aren't saying. So we say, right, I'm going to intuitively feel into the energy, and then we can sometimes go so much into people's potential and what we think they're trying to intuitively bring across. But in reality, they don't do that, and it gets really sticky. But I actually don't think that's what's playing out this month. I feel like when I said you're in the right place, this is where you're meant to be. You are wanted here because of your ability to do that, or because of your ability to be intuitive and understanding and kind and non-judgmental and intelligent, and you've got so much that you can bring to the table. Now's the time to bring it. Almost, this is not the time to assume that the people in your world now are like the people that have been in your world previously, and that you are free to be you here. And in fact, we call you to it, because you are so beautiful, and this is the place that you can be your beautiful self, and that is wanted. And I feel like your ability to go beyond the words, beyond the stumblings of people, with, perhaps a little less emotional maturity than you have. Some people just have not had the life experiences to ready them to express in the way that you do. I feel like this is where your gifts of just kind of getting it, because you can feel it, is going to be a real asset to you. And I just feel like you are going to come into some really interesting conversations in April. And this is a big theme for you, because it's readying you for more diplomacy later. It's readying you to have the confidence in co-creation later. It's getting everything into place for you to create some really big things as we move into, further into spring and the summer. And I feel, in the sort of north of the globe here, northern hemisphere, let's say May, June, July, this is your readying. This is part of it. This is the stuff that is going to create real brilliant communication and connective energy between people, this connection. And this is actually what you want. And so although it seems like, oh, okay, so I'm just here talking to people all month, kind of, but you are also loving, and you are building connections, you're networking, you're developing relationship. And I believe this getting to know you process that people are going through, this is going to be beautifully valuable in the months to come. This is the stuff where you get to know people, they get to know you, you get to realize that you can be yourself in the world, and it's really setting the scene for some stuff to come. So it is a really important part of the practice, because you've been kind of wounded by people that didn't get you, that didn't want your intuition, that didn't want your input, that didn't want you to care about them. And here you are now going back out into the world exactly as we wanted you to be, this caring, nurturing, loving force. And I think it's just getting into the practice of knowing you are not only safe to do it, but wanted to do it. So that's a really big deal. And so we got the 9 of Swords here, right? And my first thought when I looked at it is like, okay. But as I've been able to sink into it a bit more, I feel like this is a calling, by the way. So we have also coming through April. Love this. I love what's about to come out of my mouth. We have a calling for you. I feel like the things that are weighing on you or circling through your mind, even if that manifests as overthinking, you know, right? I feel that those are the things to be paying attention to. Don't pay attention necessarily to the tone or to some of the waffle that comes up when we get a little bit agitated, but rather the things that you're overthinking, I believe, are a calling to that which you care about. And actually, through April, a surprising way of getting to know yourself this month, a surprising way of maybe seeing a pathway forward, a surprising way of moving ahead and really knowing what you want is coming through some of this overthinking, some of this stress energy, some of this, oh my God. And I think, in the spiritual community, we can be quite sort of derogatory about negative feeling and emotion and overthinking and stress and things that make us uncomfortable. However, I think on this occasion, there is some really wonderful purpose, because I think the things that are bothering you are big green lights about what you care about. I think it's a sign of what you care about. I think it's calling you to what you care about. And I think that's why you're feeling it so much, because let's face it, you don't just overthink when you get in that state. You feel it. You feel it through your entire body. Your whole physical body goes skew with, starts fizzing, gets all cranky, and you really feel it with every little part of you. And I would suggest that that's a sign that you care. Now, with that in mind, of course, we want to encourage you into a direction that says, take some time to focus in and fine tune and polish what it is you care about. Now, just because the situation that's got you all knotted is starting to chat some nonsense, right, doesn't mean you necessarily care about the surface conversation, but there might be something underneath that is really calling you to action. And you are waiting for action. Some of you are fantastic and already taking part in that. I know many Cancerians that are non-stop, that always have something they care about, because you are people that you need to care about what it is you're engaged with, what it is you're investing in. And if you haven't got something to care about, you don't feel particularly good. So you always have something you care about, which is fun, that you're in the pursuit of. But I'm aware that many of you may be feeling like that flatness and that deflation because you just can't quite figure out what it is you care about right now. And to care is to feel that sense of aliveness. And I do believe you're going to find some of your answers in some of your knotted moments. The stuff that is rolling around in your head so you can't sleep at night, or you wake up in the morning and it's there, or you're going to talk with friends and you keep going over the same subject. These are your signs. It may not even be overthinking. It might just be something that you can't shut up about and you seem to be really obsessed with. And I think it's a sign that that's what you care about. And it's probably that's the direction we are very supportive of you going in. But you do need to discern below the surface stuff of what that is, and come a little deeper and ask yourself, if this is creating so much thought and feeling in me, what is it it's telling me? What is it I care about here? Because it is a big green light to go towards more of it. So you've actually got in April, you've got all this togetherness, you've got all this co-creation, you've got all this you being wanted out in the world. There's this spotlight on relationship. And at the same time, there are going to be some very poignant moments where you are realizing how much you care about something that maybe is a little bit unexpected to you. And I believe that these will be this has been what you're asking for. You know, you're like, oh, universe, I want this. Universe, I need this. Universe, I really want more of that. Universe, what are we doing? You know, these pleas that we throw out to spirit world, universe, life. I feel like these are your answers arriving in the feeling and thought stages, and it will not be long. It might be hours, it might be days, and then you begin. So, you know, we have got the opportunity for new beginning here, but do pay attention through April as to what you're obsessing over. Right, I'm now going to just delve in a little bit to the relationships. The thing is, your whole month is on relationships. So I will do a relationship card, and then we'll see what we've got. Now, I've actually got the Knight of Wands. Oh, we can't see that in the light. There we go. Right. So we've got the Knight of Wands with us. And I feel like looking at that is let the feeling lead the way. It's not dissimilar to what I've brought up already. I do believe that sometimes we can place a lot of emphasis on an intellectual expression or some sort of stability and some very grown-up energies. Grown-up energies like stability, consistency, communication. And I think we can, you know, often want these things as ways of feeling more secure in our relationships. However, when you're as feeling as you are, sometimes just somebody that is bringing a lot of feeling, that's the realness right there. You know, anybody can articulate a story if they want to. I won't say anybody, but lots of people, right? Lots of people can articulate. I've met a lot of people that are able to talk a talk, but not necessarily walk a walk. And I know so many people that walk a walk, but they can't talk the talk. They can't talk a talk, but my God, they're walking a walk. And I think what's really important for you this month in relationships is, you know, we've got our Knight of Wands here, and bless him, he's all about the feeling and the passion and the following it and seeing what it becomes. You know, he's all about, let's just go there. Let's just go there and see what happens. He's not got a plan. He's not coming in with a plan. He's got no plan. And the reason he's got no plan is because he's very engaged with just living life. He's very busy living life, and he wants to find out through the living of it rather than the planning of it. And so this is a fantastic energy to have with you for your relationships, because you're not dissimilar. I don't see this as like an emotional immaturity card. I don't see it as, you know, less than a king. I see it as just a different way of moving through life. And I do believe that this is a call to let the hearts lead and find out later, you know, go through the life experience of it. Go through that. And I think when that comes to relationship, that's what the call is too, is to not putting too much emphasis on having some sort of structure or some sort of leveling, you know, like things happen in a certain way. You know, we go from this to this to this, or putting lots of emphasis on people behaving like grown-ups. You know, emotional maturity looks different to everybody. And I believe that if the feeling and the heart is in the right place, then maybe give people a platform for expression, but also give yourself a platform for expression. Nobody's expecting perfection from you, but we can feel what's real. We can feel what's real, and feeling is real. And if you are engaging with feeling, even if you stumble and confuse yourself and say this and then say that, and then, you know, it's all a bit crazy and it's just fun and, you know, it's light and it's enjoyable, then that's all it needs to be. And I do believe through relationships, whether that's in partnership, whether that's through romance, whether that's family and friends, whether that's your work colleagues. You know, relationships for you this month are really calling for it to be fun again, for the seriousness to take a break, for the rules and the dogma about relationships to take a break and just feel each other, because there are some very real people in your life this month, and that is exactly what you wanted. And the opportunity for real to connect with real is just huge. And I think enjoy it, enjoy the feeling of it, and discover who you are on the inside of it from the living of it, not from the planning or the dictation, you know? So that looks good, right? I think you've got a really cool month ahead. Everything that is basically saying, bring it back in, this is a place you can thrive. And that will apply to your relationships as well. So, I mean, I said the whole thing, it just seems to have a spotlight on relationship. But it does feel really good. So I'm excited for your April. Please let me know how it's going. If you want to join me on Patreon, I've just created a Patreon. It's a very new community, but one that I'm excited about. I believe it's going to blossom and be so much fun. I'm doing daily readings and weekly videos, and I would like to do, live conversations as well at some point. So please come join me over there. I think we're going to have a bunch of fun. You can book in for one-to-one sessions with me. I'll put my website link below, and I'll be back next month for more readings. So super. Wishing you an incredibly loving April, full of co-creation and connectivity, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Beautiful Cancerians. See you later. Bye.